And if you can't, oh, London, right on, Kate. What time is it in London right now? 5 p.m. Okay, that's not bad. I have a business partner in Australia, and so planning meetings with her is always fun. Colorado Springs. Oh, that's awesome. I was born in Denver. All right, literally another 2 minutes, and then I will start. So thank you guys for showing up, being on time. Like I said, I always try to give it about 5 minutes to let everybody jump on who want to try to get on. This is going to be awesome today. I'm going to show you guys um, how to create a custom GPT, which really quick, because this also helps me figure out like the level that I go to with you guys. Just throw down in the chat a one if you barely use AI, and a five if you're pretty well adept with it. Because I've kind of planned out a very mid-range, but I have something to give to I'll give it to all of you guys, but I don't want to overwhelm just because I know when I was learning AI, I could get overwhelmed really easy. Okay, cool. This is really good. The three and the fours. Manus. Yeah, Kate. I've been using it. That's awesome. Um, got another person. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen. I have some stuff that I'm going to give you guys. I'm going to throw them in the chat. I will throw it in the chat at the end, and I will stay on and make sure that everybody can get to these documents. If not, because I know sometimes with Google Drive, it's hard. If not, I will give them to Laurel if you guys are in her group, coming from her world, so she can have them, just because I like to just give a step by step and like some documents. So everything I'm going to show you guys today, I have a document, so you don't have to remember. If you do want to bring your note taker back in because it looks like we aren't going to come anywhere close to capping out, feel free to do that. I'll allow them in. I just wanted to be respectful if everybody who says they're going to show up did show up. Um, and so I'll let these in. So just for those of you that are new to me, I'm Eve Whitaker. I come from a background of television for 25 years, producing and doing marketing stuff in both television and film. And about 2 years ago, transitioned over and started my own company doing a lot of brand strategy and marketing for businesses of various sizes. And I got into AI, what I'm calling this new wave of AI, because the second wave of AI, because AI has been around for a long time. But it did hit with the introduction of the LLMs like ChatGPT, Claude, Perplexity, to where now it is very much in the hands of the everyday person, which I think is really cool. I've been able to run a agency having partners, but pretty much under 5 people at all times for the last 2 years, and be very successful doing that. And that is 100% because of AI. It literally allows me to compress time, save money, and give more value to my clients. And if you are in Laurel's group, you know that I'm the one that created the custom GPT for her value bombs. I know a lot of you guys use that if you're in her ecosystem. And she's been asking me literally for probably a year and a half to show you guys how to create a custom GPT. And so I'm going to, but I want to make it so it's useful to you guys. And one of the main things that I hear from everybody, or a lot, is that AI doesn't sound like them. And that's why they don't want to use AI. It sounds like a robot. or just you can tell it was written by AI. I hear that all the time. And I kind of laugh when people say that because I'm like, well, if it was written by AI correctly, you wouldn't be able to detect that it was written by AI. Therefore, you're only pointing out and addressing and identifying the stuff that was not written well, right? I can say that what I'm going to show you guys today, I do for all of my clients. This is exactly where I start. I create a custom GPT for them. I bring in their ICA, their ideal customer avatar, their ideal customer profile. And then the cool thing that I'm going to show you guys today is one of my partners in Australia, Monica, who's also in Laurel's kind of ecosystem and world, created an app that normally I think she charges like $50 a month. If you guys want to use it, she's only going to charge 25. Not trying to sell you on anything today, I promise, but this is so worth it. That actually you can upload either a transcript of a video or some of your writing, and it does the analysis of your voice in about 2 minutes. I'm actually going to demo that. I have taken and I have seen so many AI, I'm not going to call them gurus, but teachers, a lot of people I follow, everybody seems to have their course on how to make AI sound like you. And I've taken 3 of them to date. All 3 that I've taken have been great, not poo-pooing them at all, but they all took about 2 hours and I had to do a bunch of personality things and all this stuff. Like all in all, let's say it took 3 to 4 hours of my life to get everything together. What Monica created literally takes 10 minutes. And so I just have it always. I pay the subscription and just have it because I use it for so many of my clients. And every time that I get any more clients, I use it again and again. So I'm going to show you guys that. So basically in ChatGPT, you can create these custom GPTs. And a custom GPT, and I'm going to speak to the lowest common denominator, just so everyone understands what I'm talking about. So a custom GPT basically is, I think it was first described if ChatGPT had a bunch of little babies, that's what it was. So it allows you to basically give the AI information that it will store it and it will remember it and it begins to train itself with that information and you don't have to continue to reprompt it. So for example, if I have a custom GPT that is going to show me how to or rewrite a blog post using like LinkedIn, or rewrite a blog post for LinkedIn, I can basically train this custom GPT with the formats that I like for my LinkedIn posts. And then I don't have to go back to ChatGPT every time I want to create a LinkedIn post and explain how I want it done. It kind of just has it stored in the background. And I just go on and say, hey, take this blog and create however many LinkedIn posts, and it just does it. And so what I'm going to do is share my screen and just kind of show you a couple. I'm going to close this. All right. All right. So I'm in ChatGPT. I'm going to move you guys so you're not over here. And basically, this is just the normal ChatGPT. When you go into it, over to the left are all of my custom GPTs. Some of them are found when I go explore that people have uploaded for me to use or you to use at no cost. And then a lot of them are ones that I created. And then you have up here where you get to choose what model you want to use of ChatGPT. I just pay for the $20 version. I'm not on the $200 version. So I'm going to be using that for now. And basically, to give you guys an example, so this is one of my clients. And I basically created what I call the Anita AI bot for her. This has her voice and tone, her ICA, and we've been using it for about 6 months. And I will upload if I do an interview with any of her clients or anything like that. and just put it in the normal chat window right here, it literally remembers stuff. So I could say, I could prompt it and say, write me an Instagram post on Anita's design. And I am a horrible speller, so ignore my spelling. So because I've already trained this, it is going to absolutely know what her philosophy is. It even referenced her IACA, Luxury Living Lisa, and then it's just going to start creating the posts. This is a very generic, I'll say generic, broad might be a better word, ICA, where it is not set to do anything specific except know my client, know her voice and tone, and know her ICA. And that's what we're going to do today, because what you can do is use other custom GPTs within your, I'm going to call it assistant GPT, to do stuff. So, for example, this one right here is the viral LinkedIn post, custom GPT. If you go down here to explore GPTs, you will find this. I don't know who created it. I'm sure they have it. If I clicked on it, we could see. I found this about 6 months ago, and I love it. Whoever created it did a great job. I like how it formats my LinkedIn post, so that's what I use. So once we create your custom GPT, if you want to use this or use a custom GPT that writes emails or that writes blog posts, whatever, all you do is in the chat, you just go to the chat and use the @ sign, and it will begin to pull in whatever GPTs you have in your toolbar that you can use. So I'll just go like that. So now Chat GPT is going to use my client's voice and tone, speak to her ideal customer avatar. And basically, I'll just take this, because this was, I just told it to do this for Instagram, and I'll paste it in here. And it's now going to use that viral LinkedIn one, and it's going to create now the same post, but now it's going to format it for LinkedIn, right? And sky's kind of the limit on this, you guys. Like, in all honesty, I have interviewed people and have been talking to a lot of people using AI. I just spoke with a guy that works for the state of Wyoming, and he's an engineer, and he has a lot of policies. And the state has a lot of like regulations and policies, and I'm probably using the wrong word, but he has taken all of these like rules and regulations and put them into a custom GPT. And then when he goes and has specific clients that he uses or that he's working with, he creates a custom GPT for them and then puts all of their rules and regulations and policies into that custom GPT. And then he says he just pulls up his main one, the state of Wyoming's, brings in the client and can ask it any questions. And basically he's like, it's saving me and my team hours and hours of research, because we don't have to go digging through all that stuff to find out if we can do X, Y, or Z based on each specific client. I mean, that's just one case study. I use a lot of it for marketing, obviously, because that's what I'm doing. So what I want to show you guys again, and I'm going to share my screen, is just to begin to how to lay this out. And then for the people that are more advanced, I'm going to go into how I actually use AI to create my custom GPTs. So I don't even like think about them anymore. I go into Perplexity. I have Perplexity write almost everything for me. I switch between Perplexity and ChatGPT. You can use whatever. This is just my choice. So the three main tools that I use for this are ChatGPT, obviously, because it allows the custom GPTs. Perplexity, which does amazing research. I know there's a lot of other ones out there now. Won't go into it. That's just what I use. And then I use Claude. So everything I'm going to show you today, you can use all three. You can use one. This is just where I find the best results. But then what I'm going to do is I'm also going to give those of you who are more at a one in where you're at with using AI, I'm just going to give you the template of the custom GPT and you're just going to fill in your own information. Okay. So just to kind of start how you would even go into it. So I'm just going to go to new chat. Okay. So if you are using ChatGPT first time, you could come in and just chat here, right? If you want to create a custom GPT, and I'm on a little tiny screen, there we go. So I'm going to go in and I'm going to go into my GPTs. So here's a whole bunch of GPTs I created. And this is where you're just going to click on this, create a GPT. So then this window comes up, right? You can toggle between create and configure. I never use create. I do everything in this. And this is where you're going to begin to build out your GPT. All right. So I'm going to start with this one and I'm going to give it a name and I'm just going to say Eve's Little Helper. All right. Description. I'm going to put Eve's voice, tone, and ICA. This is literally because it just is going to come here. I'm not going to make this one public. So it really doesn't matter. But if you're creating a custom GPT that you want to do for your clients, whatever, this is kind of what where you would put that stuff. And then this is where the instructions come in. Now, I've already built out the instructions. Again, in a little bit, I'm going to show you guys that. So I'm just going to go to my custom instructions. And this is where I created basically everything I'm going to tell ChatGPT to do. It's very much like a really long prompt. And again, I used a combination of Perplexity and ChatGPT to create these instructions. I will go over that, but I just want to kind of show you, I'm going to make the sausage and then we're going to show you how to do it. And again, I'm going to give you this document. And so you will be able to go in and basically take this if you want to create what I'm creating today and do your own. And you'll just go in and just change out certain things. And I highlighted when we have knowledge files that you're going to use. And it's really not that long. It seems like it is. This whole last part is on security, so people can't jump in and get the custom instructions, which I am shocked at how many custom instructions I can go in and take from people's GPTs because they don't put security into them, which is just it's kind of stealing, but I find it, I call it learning. If they're not going to protect it, I want to see how they built it. Okay, so I'm literally just going to copy this and I'm going to go back to the ChatGPT. And this is where I'm going to put my instructions. So I just make it like that. And I go like this. So everything's in. Again, I'm going to show you how I came up with all of this. And so you have instructions, and then you have files that you upload. This is where also you can create a GPT. Let's say there's a book that you have that's a PDF and you want to refer back and forth to the book. You can upload that PDF and create a custom GPT just on that book and go in and ask questions, and it's going to pull up the answers like that. It's absolutely fascinating. Okay, so then it goes to the conversation starter. Now, then this is more if you're doing this for someone else versus you, but this is where it basically cues the user, if it wasn't you, how to use it. So I'm just going to say, hi, let me know what you want me to do today. You could do something that just says start here. You can have multiple ones. I think you can have up to 4. Again, not important. This is really if you're doing a more advanced GPT where you would need this. If you want to say, like, an example is the LinkedIn one I use. They've created 4 different frameworks for LinkedIn posts. And so he has, or she has, whoever created it, has each one like, do you want to create a viral LinkedIn post? Do you want me to just format your LinkedIn post? Stuff like that. And so that is where it will then cue the user. All right, so then I go to here, which is my knowledge. And this, again, I'm going to show you guys how to create this, but I'm just going to go through and upload this stuff because I've already done it. So I've created my knowledge files. ChatGPT loves simple text, so text documents. So I will export everything as a text document. It can be a PDF. It doesn't have to be a text document. It's just easier for ChatGPT to get the information quicker if it's a text document. And it also and I should have said this before. Let me just go back to this really quick. You see all these like hashtags and it looks very formatted, and that might be a little overwhelming. This is just called markdown text. And so I'm also going to show you a tool that I use because ChatGPT also likes its instructions in Markdown. And if sometimes it just does it, and honestly, I can't tell you why sometimes when I cut and paste, it's in Markdown. I'm sure it's something that I'm doing. But there's also free tools where I just cut and paste my stuff and it just turns it into Markdown text. I am not a coder. I have never written code in my life. So all of this stuff is literally done with just a tool the way that I was taught. Okay, so I'm going to go back to the knowledge files. And again, going to build this out and then we're going to deconstruct it. So I'm going to go to my knowledge files. I have my voice pattern. That's one of them that I'm going to put in here. That is what I'm going to show you using the voice analyzer. And then I'm going to go to my ICP ICA. So that's my ideal customer profile and my ideal customer avatar. I also have a document for you guys on the 5 prompts that I use to get the ICA, your ICP, and their pain points. I've already done a workshop on that. It's on my YouTube page, but you don't really need to watch the workshop, just use the prompts. But if you are curious, you can definitely do that. So again, I'll provide that. Okay, so then I'm also going to give it this content. This is part of it. These are blog posts that I wrote. Again, this is going to help my custom GPT understand the way that I write. So I created those. And in my instructions, it's going to reference those. And so that's just content 1, 2, and 3. It's just 3 blog posts I wrote. So it understands my stuff. You could take, if you are a big Twitter writer or whatever format, if you've written a book, upload that. And then I have this Eve Speak and then Eve Speak 2. This is where I actually recorded myself using Otter, which is another great AI tool. I saw some of you guys use that for note taking. And this was just how I actually got my voice analysis. So you could go, if you perform, or if you have any YouTube videos that you're teaching something, you can get the transcript of that. I just recorded myself on a phone call with earbuds in, so it just took me. So I'm just going to grab these last 2. And then the last one is the pain points, right? So I load all that stuff up into their capabilities, web search, Canvas, Dolly. You can put all that stuff in. That's all fine. And then the last thing I'm going to do is this is where you can use upload an image. And so I just have the one that I use for my stuff. And I'm going to hit create. Right now, I'm just going to put only me. This is where you can choose who do you want to be able to use this GPT. So a lot of them for my clients is anyone with a link. That way no one can go do it. Or you can put it in the GPT store. I think eventually there are ideas that people could sell their GPTs from the ChatGPT store. They just haven't done it. So to call it a store, it's more of a free smorgasbord where you can go on and play. And I hit save. So that's where it is. And then literally I could go in and just say, let me find something that I could put in and say, will you in fact, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to move you guys. Whoops. All right. I'm just going to tell ChatGPT, hey, I want you to give me an outline of the steps that I am creating right now for this class in my voice and tone. So I'm showing them how to use or how to create a GPT. And we're going to start with going over how to use Perplexity first to create the instructions, and then how to use ChatGPT to create the knowledge files, and then uploading it up. All right. I find talking to ChatGPT is so much better. I have the app on my phone and literally I just talk. All right. So now it's basically just going to say, and literally, I always laugh because perfect. Hey, I'm your behind the scenes voice twin, ready to turn your steps into solid strategic outline that sounds exactly like you. Here's what I'll do. This does sound like me. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. So it says, so before I dive in, just to confirm with me real quick, literally how I talk. Is this for a live class, pre-recorded, or handout? How detailed do you want the outline? High level, any specific thing? I'm just going to say, once again, this is for a live class that I'm actually teaching right now. I've already created this, but I'm just using this as a demo. So I just want you to give like a very clear and concise outline of what we're doing today in this class. Once again, I'm showing them how to create a GPT in ChatGPT, how they're going to use Perplexity to create the custom instructions for the GPT, and use ChatGPT to create the knowledge files. I also am giving them a document on how to get their ICA and their ICP, which will be part of their knowledge. And I'm giving them a document on the step-by-step prompts that I'm going to give them, that we're going to use Perplexity and GPT to create it. And I'm also going to show them how to get their voice and tone analysis. All right. Again, this is why I talk, because my mind just kind of is like all over the place. And I use ChatGPT all the time to create emails for my clients. Like I'll send them an end of week update. And it's literally, I just have a thread that I'm just talking into all week long. And then at the end, I tell it, okay, now take everything I updated you on over the course of the last week and create a very clear and concise, bullet pointed or outlined update, and just lose all of my rambling and fluff. All right, so here it is, class outline. Here is what we're covering today, step by step. Start with your strategy, not just a tool. We're jumping into the tech blind. We're not jumping into tech blind. First, we're anchoring your GPT in your actual business, your audience, your voice. Use Perplexity to generate. It's going to go through all this stuff, and I love this. I'm actually going to let me know if you want this turned into a downloadable PDF or slide format. You know what? I'm going to say a slide format. If anyone hasn't used Gamma, if you create any slide decks or presentations using Canva, you don't ever have to use Canva again. Use Gamma. It's literally like $30 a year. And it will take everything that I just did right here. If we have time, I don't know if we will, I'll show you. And it will build my deck for me. Again, I use this all the time for my proposals for my clients. It literally takes about 3 minutes after I get this. Okay, so that's what that did. So I'm going to stop share really quick. And before I move on and go into how I use Perplexity to do this, any questions? I know sometimes I go on and on and on, and I don't want to leave anyone behind. So any questions, you can just raise your hand or just open your mic and talk. Again, it's just me today, so I don't have anyone running the chat. So I have no idea what you guys are saying. I'll go through and answer all these. I've used Gamma, it's helpful. Okay, so if nobody's, I'm just going to say, just unmute yourself if you have a question. And I will go through and look at, oh, Gamma's $10 a month, FYI. I forget. I probably need to do a recapture and reallocate. I do that with my clients too, especially like the small businesses, because I know every penny counts. I am such like a AI nerd now that I keep joining and subscribing to stuff and then I forget about it. And I'm sure you guys do that in some aspect of your life. It might not be AI stuff. So every quarter I go in and I look at everything and I'm like, oh, wow, I have 2 Spotify accounts. I should probably cancel one. And I do that. And the first time I did it, I literally saved like $3,500 a month. I've done that with clients that are much bigger that have saved literally tens and thousands of dollars a month when they start looking at all the redundancies when you're running a business and you're doing stuff and really looking at like, oh, we're still paying for this software that we haven't used in like 2 years. Wow, we should probably cancel that. All right. So again, I will go back to, and yes, I am for hire. I'll put my website in the chat. And let's see, go to everyone. It's vague creative. I don't know why it says meeting room chat. Let's see if this is, oh, meeting group chat. Perfect. Actually, I'll just put my email address. That's easy. You can find my website. We're actually forming, I'll tell you guys about this now since someone just asked in the chat. I have found in the last 2 years, there are a bunch of coaches that are teaching AI on kind of a do it yourself, right? Where they meet up twice a month, kind of show you tips and tricks, kind of like what I'm doing right now. And then there's the other side of what I'm doing, and that's agency, where I charge a large retainer. I have a team of people now, and we do everything for the client, soup to nuts. But when I do these workshops, because I love doing these, I go into a lot of people's masterminds because a lot of people have different masterminds on anything, and AI can touch everything. And I'll teach an AI workshop, and I've had a lot of people in those ask me if they could work with me, but they don't have the $100,000 a year budget that my agency clients have, right? And so we're forming a group and it's literally in the beta right now. So if you're interested, shoot me an email because we're like a month away from launching it, where we feel that there is a middle ground. People that don't have the money on the agency, but they don't want to do it themselves, right? And so we're going to go in, create the custom GPTs, create automated workflows for the people that need it. Not everyone needs an automated workflow, but some people do. And that's absolutely fascinating when we get to that, where you can literally, now they have automations where we call it person in the loop, where you can literally get an email in the automation showing you the blog it wrote. You can talk to it, sends it back, you approve it, and boom, all of a sudden it's posted on your LinkedIn, your Instagram. And now with especially ChatGPT's image stuff that it's recently in the last month released. It's even getting better on doing images. That's the only thing that in the automation that I don't allow for my clients, just because they don't want AI generated images. And right now, it can't pull from a bank of images, but I say that now, it probably can, and I don't know about it, but I guarantee if it doesn't, like in a week, it will. But anyway, so that's my email address. And we're going to charge a lower amount, right? So I always go off in tangent. So we're going to create a group that basically we build all the hard stuff that people don't want to build it. And then we're going to meet twice a month and basically be there for support, asking questions. And then all the strategy, again, what I do is branding and marketing. I have an entire ecosystem of how I create content with a blog that is good for your SEO. And then I literally spread that out everywhere on all socials. And that's just one part of the ecosystem. That's just kind of the foundation of what I do for my clients. And then a lot of just strategy on how they can get in and get to their ideal client. I always tell people, and this is something that I learned from Nick and Laurel. Nick especially always says you can't read the label from inside the bottle. And a lot of times when I'm talking to my clients and they're like, this just seems so obvious. I can't believe I didn't think about this. Well, most of my clients aren't marketing people, right? They're doing their business, they're writing their book, they're starting whatever. And so no, you shouldn't know this. This shouldn't be Captain Obvious to you. What's Captain Obvious is what you do, and what you do very well. Marketing is not second nature to people. I was thrown into marketing. I worked for a film producer that made me start marketing stuff. This is a long time ago. But that's how I got into it. It was very much, I didn't take a marketing class. My degree is in broadcast journalism and my master's is in media arts. So I worked for 25 years in television and was thrown into the marketing world. So if I did not have that, it would not have been Captain Obvious to me. It was a very much crash and burn and learn. Okay, so let's go into the how we use AI to create our custom GPTs. I don't want to overwhelm, so we will have questions afterwards, but I'm just going to show you guys because it does get a little overwhelming. I think I get overwhelmed easy, maybe. I'm not a tech person. Okay. So I am going to go to the instructions that I wrote out and go through these again. I'm going to give you guys these at the end. When people come in midway through these workshops, they don't see the whole chat. And so, and you also, I just now gave all of you guys my email address. So if for some reason you can't get it, just email me. I promise you, I will give you all of this stuff. I don't gatekeep. All right, so step-by-step prompts to create a GPT. I say you can use ChatGPT, Perplexity, or Claude. I'm sure you can use Manus. I'm just now playing with that. I'm sure there's other ones. Gemini. I don't use Gemini, but whatever. Okay, so the first thing is I'm going to get ChatGPT to basically give me a description of what I want my GPT to be. All right. So I'm building a GPT in ChatGPT, and I need to create a set of training data. I want this. This is what I want my GPT to do. I'm going to say what I want it to do. Create a clear and concise description that I can use to help guide and train AI to build my custom GPT. All right, so I'm just literally going to take this and I'm going to cut it and I'm going to go back into ChatGPT. I'm going to throw it in there. And this, where I want what I want my GPT to do. So I'm going to say, I want let's see, this is what I want my GPT to do. I want it to be my assistant and help create content in my voice and tone and speak to my ICA. All right. All right. Custom GPT purpose and personality. This GPT is designed, guidelines, blah, 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 ICA. Okay, so it's going a little crazy. So I'm going to say, because I don't need all that, I just need a description. Give me a 1 or 2 line description of this custom GPT. Okay, this custom GPT, perfect. All right, so I'm going to copy that and I'm going to go back and I'm just going to, I like to do it like this where I'm actually going to fill this in. So this is where then I'm going to go into Perplexity. And I'm going to tell Perplexity, I'm building a custom GPT in ChatGPT and need to create a comprehensive training data set. I'm not going to cut and paste what it just showed me. This is what it did for me. Same thing. I used the same prompt, but I gave it more information. So this custom GPT is designed to serve as a functional voice and tone engine for all of my content. Its primary function is to write in my unique voice and tone consistently and to ensure that everything it creates is aligned with and resonates deeply with my ICA. This GPT will not generate specific content types, blah, blah, blah. Other GPTs will handle those. Instead, it serves as the core voice plus ICA alignment engine for all content, regardless of the format. This was something that when I did the step I just showed you in GPT to give me a description, it gave me this. I'm actually just going to delete this because we don't need it. That was because I was just, again, riffing and talking to it and saying, I don't want you to create the blogs. I'm going to write them myself. I just want you to put them in my tone. Okay. Please respond with a list of recommended knowledge files. Those are what I loaded up. I should create, really, ChatGPT is going to create them as examples of what should go in each. All right. So I'm going to cut this and just, I'm going to say here, just so you guys, because I use Perplexity. All right. So now I'm going to go to Perplexity and go new thread. Okay. If you haven't used Perplexity, you can get a free version of it. I have the pro version. I use Perplexity a lot more before ChatGPT released their deep research, but I still use it. And also, pro tip, you guys, anytime I create anything using AI, I use another AI to fact check it. So if I'm going to create something in Perplexity, I go into ChatGPT to fact check it and vice versa, or Claude, because AI is not perfect. It hallucinates. I was writing a blog for a client and I kept telling it only use examples that I have provided in this thread. And it kept hallucinating and making up examples. And I would be like, I literally at one point said, are you tired? You keep using examples that I did not give you. And it'd be like, my bad. You're right. I did make that up. And so again, there's always a human behind the AI. Okay, so what do I want to do? I'm just going to cut and paste that. Oh, I took way too much. Hold on a second. Let me go back. I'm going to go new thread. And I'm going to go because I don't want to get too much. Oh, no, was that right? Oh, that was right. Sorry, my bad, because I turned that into prompt 2. All right. So I'm going to take this out because you don't need that. Prompt 2. All right, so here it is. I'm building a custom GPT, blah, 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 and I'm not going to do deep research. Deep research scans the entire web and pulls out everything. So it is now searching, looking for things for the ideal client avatar. It's just going to go through everything it feels all the knowledge files I need to make. And what I like about Perplexity, and ChatGPT does this too now, is it gives the references. So if you ever want to see and fact check it, like where it comes up with anything, you just click on that number and it literally will take you to the website where it pulled that information. All right. So this is what it is saying I should use as my knowledge files. Okay. So it's saying a voice and tone guide. It's saying an ideal client avatar, content examples library. This might sound familiar. This is all the stuff that I uploaded when I created mine. A style and grammar rule book, a prompt template for AI training, audience specific adjustment table. Some of this stuff I won't use, like I wouldn't use that, but you can. Feedback and iteration log. Okay. So I don't want to confuse you guys, but I'm not going to have ChatGPT create this right now because I'm going to do that in this app that I'm going to show you in a minute. So I'm going to show you how to create the knowledge files using this. So that's the next step. So I'm going to go back to this just so you guys can follow the bouncy ball. So it just created all the knowledge files that it's going to suggest that I provide for this custom GPT. So now to create knowledge files, take the answers from, and it's actually prompt 2, and cut and paste each section separately into ChatGPT and below this prompt. Okay. So again, I know this gets confusing. But now I want to create the knowledge files that I'm going to upload to my custom GPT. So I say I'm building a custom GPT in ChatGPT, and I need a comprehensive data training set designed to service the, and then here it is. I'm being very specific and over explaining myself to ChatGPT. This is literally the description of my custom GPT. I'm asking what characteristics and skills it should have. And please create the knowledge files needed for this aspect. Okay. So I'm going to go back here. I'm just going to cut. And this is just how I do it. You could create your own document, but I literally, for this aspect, and I'm just going to paste it. And then I'm going to go and take this prompt. I'm going to go back into ChatGPT. I'm going to paste it. So now it is going to, based on what it believes, and this is, I guess this can get confusing, and I probably should have done something besides an ideal customer avatar because I actually have prompts that do the ideal customer avatar. So ignore that. I'm going to redo this because we are going to get, instead of the ICA, examples for the library. Okay, here's a good one. The style and grammar rule book. So this is what I'm going to create the knowledge files for. So not to be confusing, because I'm sure that might have confused some of you guys, I have prompts that actually will get you your exact ICA. So I don't need ChatGPT in this particular example to create the knowledge files for it. If I was creating, let's say, a custom GPT, again, that was going to show me how to format my LinkedIn posts, and I want to do it for it to be viral, I want to do it for it to be formatted the best for LinkedIn and like something else, this is where it would put that information. And then this is where I would go create those knowledge files. So the style and grammar rule book, and this is to ensure technical consistency and obviously using your grammar preferences. This is where I don't have this. So I do have my voice and tone. I do have my ICA. So this is the one. Let me go back and make sure that. Okay, so I'm going to do this. I'm going to go back into my step-by-step. not do my ICA again because we're going to get our ICA from the prompts that I have. And I'm going to go up, copy all this. And I'm going to go back to chat, place this in here. So now it's asking me what response do I like better? I'm just going to go with response 2 because we're more showing. It's still creating it. Okay. I'm going to pick the longer one. I prefer this one. So again, then I'm going to cut this out. And then this is however you want to do it, right? I would go to my drive, my Google Drive. I would create a new document. Because again, you got to keep this organized because you're going to upload all these knowledge files into your custom GPT. I'm going to paste this. I'm going to get rid of this stuff. And I'm going to call this style and grammar. And I'm actually going to call it style rule book because we're going to use that. All right. So then I'm going to go back and I'm going to go file, download. I'm going to download this as a plain text. And then I would put this into my folder. I can put there for now, but I created a folder where I uploaded all of my documents. And so that is where they all live, right? So I would just literally go from Perplexity, what it told it that you need, go into ChatGPT to create the knowledge, cut and paste the knowledge into a document, export it as a text doc. There are many steps to this, but it literally, once you do it over and over, it becomes super easy. And I jammed out. I went and visited Laurel in New Orleans like a month and a half ago. And she's like, will you create me a custom GPT that does this? And I was like, yeah. And we just sat at the computer and I was just like, create me this document, get me this document. And we literally built it out in like an hour and a half. So it seems like a lot. And I'm only saying this because this is when I first learned how to do this. I was like, too many steps. It's very rinse and repeat. Okay, so then again, I would then go to the next one. Prompt templates for AI training to standardize output generation. So I'm just going to go over one more just to kind of show you. Again, rinse and repeat, cutting and pasting that, going back into my little step-by-step document that I'm going to give you guys. I just delete, oh, whoops, what happened? Hold on a second. Sometimes I literally hit something and it just takes me out. Okay, so I'm going to paste that. And I'm literally, again, I'm just going to cut and paste this whole thing. Whoops. I'm going to go back into my chat GPT, paste it in. Here is knowledge 5. So it's giving me the knowledge files again. Literally giving, I don't know if I'd have to cut each one of these to put into the thing. If I do, I'm not going to. But you guys would get the idea that you would cut and paste each one of these, but I'm hoping at the end it will just let me cut and paste the whole thing. Let's see. Go back, go file new. document, paste. Didn't seem to like that at all. All right. Doc. Okay, cool. It didn't. That's perfect. Again, so then just take that out. I'm going to call this prompt templates. And I will go file, download as a TRT. And again, I would take that and put that into my folder. And I would just literally go through. And again, you guys, when you're creating these, read these things because some of this I don't need, right? And some of it I might need to reprompt and say like, actually, I don't need that. Like whatever it did up here, I kind of looked at it and I was like, I don't know where it was, probably this one was just like, we don't really need this, but you might. The style and grammar rule book, or not that, the content examples library, I don't need to create knowledge in ChatGPT, the knowledge files, because the knowledge files for that is literally going to be examples of your writing, right? Or whatever you're using. So that's where that is. Yes, you will get the replay of this. I'm not following, that just popped up. I'm not really watching the chat, but I am going to put this up on my YouTube, which I think is Eve Whitaker AI. And then I give it to Laurel. If you're in Laurel's $7 program, it goes into her program too somewhere. So if you have to jump, because I know this is going to go over an hour, which I should have said, I should have told her it was going to be an hour and a half just because it takes forever to do this. Really, in the scheme of things, it will save you more time than it takes you to make it. Okay, so rinse and repeat, we do that. So now I'm going to go back, and this is where the, as we say, the magic happens, okay? So we have that. Now what you do is you go in, so save each of these knowledge files as a text doc and put into one folder. Then go into ChatGPT and attach all of your documents, and you give it this final prompt. This is how we get those custom instructions that I showed you, okay? So I'm building a custom GPT, blah, blah, blah. I do all that. So I'm literally going to say, and this is literally the same thing I got from my first original prompt that is saying what I want my custom GPT to do. So I'm going to cut and paste that. And I go into ChatGPT. I'm going to go new thing. And this is where I'm going to go. And you click here to upload files. And I'm going to go and I'm going to upload my voice, my ICA. I'll do those ones because I'm not going to do everything because I had extra stuff because I went a little bit more for mine. Upload. I'm going to do all this content. And I'm going to do the pain points. Okay. So I've just given ChatGPT all of the knowledge documents that Perplexity told me I need for this GPT. This prompt now is going to build my instructions. Using this prompt, this is where it's great. Now I'm going to give you all these instructions. Now, if your head's about to explode, because I'm going to show you two things really quick. I'm going to show you what I use to turn them into Markdown. And then I'm going to show you the app that before you jump, Kate, if you have to go soon, I want to at least get you guys the link to this because this is how, if you want your voice and tone, this is how you're going to do it. That's the next thing I'm going to show you is that app. So if you can hang on for 5-6 more minutes, that I will show it to you, but I'll put that link in the chat in just a second because that is what's going to save you so much time. Okay. Oh, I see. Good. Yay, she can stay. All right, so here are my instructions, right? So I'm literally going to cut and paste those. And then what I use, and this is free, it is Stack Edit. It allows me to go in and create everything in Markdown, right? So there are a ton. I don't know if this is only Mac based, but if you Google Markdown editor, there's a bunch of them that are free. This is the one I use. And again, I in the past, and this could be very much a user error. Some people say I'm an AI expert. I'm only an expert in what I know. So sometimes when I cut and paste out of ChatGPT or other AI LLMs, like learn language models, it's in Markdown. I don't know what I'm doing, but I'll just cut and paste that in that I just took. And now it is literally in Markdown. And then I will literally take this. I'm going to leave the emojis, but I'm going to cut and paste this. And this is where I literally go back to the beginning, and this is what it did. It created those custom instructions that I told it to make. Okay. Now, here is the thing. In the custom instructions, it's going to say you're going to reference this knowledge file. That is the things you have to load up, and you have to keep them named the same thing, right? So when we created all those knowledge files and we exported them as the text documents, I named this one Eve_voice_pattern, right? So in the instructions, when I go to create my custom GPT and I put my instructions in, I am telling it under these instructions that I also want it to reference this knowledge. That is what I uploaded when I first came over here and made my custom GPT, and I uploaded this. If you name it something different, it's not going to know what to reference. You keep everything consistent, it should all be named the same. But just be careful of that, because when I first started doing this, I wasn't using AI to write my instructions. I was doing it. And I started, for whatever reason, naming stuff in the instructions .trt, and it wasn't referencing any of them. And I was like, why is it doing this? The other pro tip, if you guys are going to create anything for a client or someone else, if I was to name this Eve's LinkedIn helper, I would not be able to share the link, and it would literally flag me for copyright. So anything that could possibly be copyright, LinkedIn, Instagram, any major name, keep it out of the title. It took me a long, hot second to figure out because I thought it was something in my custom instructions that was copyrighted. I could not figure it out. It was in my name. So just don't use, if you're using it for Instagram. I don't know how some of the custom GPTs in the custom GPT store have those. It might have been an update, but now if I was to name it like Eve's Instagram writer, it would not let me. I could still use it personally, but it would not let me share the link. So just keep your name generic. You could call it, Dave's social media helper, something like that. Okay, so now I'm going to go to, well, hold on 2 seconds. I'm actually going to stop share because it's a good point. Questions, because I just fire hosed you guys to the face with a bunch of information. Is there any question that you guys have? And again, I would just unmute yourself. I can kind of read these. In Docs, just click File, Download Markdown so you don't have to use another tool. That is a great tip. In Google, I'll just click File, Download Markdown. Are you going to give us the Google Doc? Yes, I will give you guys all the Google Docs, I promise. Will we get a replay? Yes, okay. Well, I'm just going to leave it here.
Hey, Eve, Janine asked a good question up above. She was asking if you should create these in your ChatGPT account or in your client's ChatGPT account.
Well, that is a great question, and that depends on what you want to do. So, if the client has paid you to own it outright, I would do it in theirs, right? Um, I then you can't update it though, right? So I keep everything in mine, and my clients have me on retainer. If for any reason we were to part ways, because my clients, they're just ongoing, I kind of act as their fractional CMO. I could give them that and go do it. But some of my clients are in Texas. I mean, I could log into their account, I guess, but I've created them in mine, and then I have ownership over them. Some people who sell them, and it costs like right now in the professional world, people are charging about 5 grand to create a custom GPT. Um, and so if someone was going to pay me 5 grand, I would happily do it in theirs, right? So I just have never charged that. I know my mentor and who I follow and am now doing strategy work for, Jonathan Mast. He is now giving me a lot of his clients to create custom GPTs for because he doesn't want to do it anymore, and he charged 5 grand to do it. So it really just depends on what you're doing. Because I can share the link and they will have it always if it's like anyone that has the link. I know there are people, and this is what we are doing in what we've talked about in our beta group that I talked about. So we're going to create all these custom GPTs that are broad, right? Like a LinkedIn one, an Instagram one, best practices for every facet of marketing, right? We're not going to make those personal. So we're going to, or personalized. So we're going to keep them. And then we're going to, when we take on a student or a client, whatever you want to call it, I don't think they're students more, but they are learning. Anyone in our group, we're going to create the custom GPT for them and then give them access to our entire library so they can bring it in just like we said, or that like I showed you before, where you hit the @ and it does it. Now, there are tools, like one is called Pickaxe, which allows you to put your custom GPTs behind a paywall. Um, and there are some custom solutions to put it behind like a paid wall. Um, a down and dirty way to do it that I have seen people do that we're doing is I give everybody the links to those custom GPTs. We haven't had this issue, but one of the solutions that we came up with is, let's say we have 100 people in our group and I send you guys all the links to all the custom GPTs. If people leave the group, obviously they still have access to those GPTs. If you want to take access away from them, you can go in and create a copy of your GPT. It then has a new URL. And then you would have to send your group a new list of links. So that's kind of like a very, I don't know, poor man's version of how you can keep it. So if somebody leaves your group or whatever, that you can change it. Or if you have a client and you're holding the GPT because they haven't paid you outright for the GPT, they're just using it. You can just change the URL, just copy it and delete the original one. Yes, I have also seen people add the password. So one of the solutions that my partner has is she puts everything in a database, and she has a way that she programs into the custom GPT that you have to enter your email address. And if the email address is not in her database, you can't use it. So there's many solutions, but right now, the way that I'm doing it is I'm not terribly worried about people still using my GPTs. In fact, if I didn't, the clients that I have right now, there could be future ones that I don't say this about, but the clients I have right now, if we parted ways, I would just let them keep it and just keep using it because I honestly don't care. But if that is a concern to you, then that's what I would do. But that is a great question. And I know a lot of people use Pickaxe, but what I've heard from Pickaxe is, or what I've heard from people that have used it, is it created a lot of friction with their clients. A lot of this technology is really new. And so just getting somebody into chat GPT is one thing. And if they think they're getting their custom GPT and all of a sudden they're having to sign up for a pickaxe account and all this stuff to access stuff, they just got flustered. And so people that also in my industry that are doing the same thing I'm doing, were just like, yeah, not going to use it. But some people might be using it successfully too, and that not be an issue. I embedded Pixax in my member area, and my members are not techie and they have no issues using them. That's great. That's super cool. So, like I said, it's everybody has a different experience. And so if Pickaxe is working, that's awesome. I've only heard from a couple people that it's not. And once I heard it twice, I was like, I'm not using Pickaxe. So, I really haven't had to at this point, but that's good to know. Okay, cool. So now I'm going to show you this kick-ass tool. I'm going to share my screen again on the voice analysis. Okay, I'm going to throw this link in right now. The voice, tone of voice analyst. Throwing that in right now so you guys can grab it. So let's see if I have to enter my stuff. Okay, so once you subscribe to this, and again, I'm not trying to sell you guys anything. It's 25 bucks if you want to do this. That is cheaper than anybody's workshop that I've seen. Usually the cheapest I've seen is a $47 workshop to teach you how to get your voice and tone AI to speak like you. And it's a 2-hour workshop. And again, I've taken them just for knowledge and they're good. I'm not poo-pooing any of those. I just found that Monica's is so quick and so good. So what I did is I literally, like I said, I recorded myself earlier. And I do this two ways. I have my written one and I have my speaking one. So in my knowledge files, I already got my voice pattern for my speaking one. Today, I'm going to get one that is my written one. So I'm going to use this. So I'm going to go to choose a file, show you guys how fast this works. And I'm going to choose content. So this is a blog that I wrote. I'm going to open it. I'm going to say analyze document. She put this video. So if you don't want to come back to this portion at 10:15, an hour and 15 minutes in, she goes over exactly how to use this. Honestly, it's like 3 steps. Upload your document, hit analyze. It takes about 3 to 4 minutes, and it will pump out the thing. And if it takes longer, I'll reset it because I actually kept this window open. And so, because usually it is done at this time, but I actually think it's, we'll give it a couple more seconds. It's still way quicker than watching and doing all the personality tests and all the stuff to get your voice and tone. So why it's doing that, let me go back up to the questions. I was using ChatGPT to create a meal plan with very specific macros, and the math was all wrong. I had to keep asking to review it. Yep, nope, that's, and, sometimes it's going to do that, right? Like it's not going to be correct. If you're newer to playing around with ChatGPT, prompting it correctly will get you a better output. And I'm not saying you didn't prompt it correctly, but one of the things I always give it a role. I always say, like, you are an expert in, a nutritionist. I give it its task. This is what I want you to do. And then usually the third prompt that I give it is I say, ask me any clarifying questions you have to optimize this task. All right, you guys, I'm going to stop this because I do think that it's having a hard time because I didn't reset it. So let me just reload this page. Okay, so now it's going to go to, hold on, I'm just going to stop my share really quick. Give me 2 seconds where I'm just going to log back in because I promise you, it's really not that long. Or it shouldn't take that long. All right. All right, let me share my screen. All right, so I'm verifying my credentials. All right, so I'm going to choose a file. I go back down to my content. I'm going to open it and go analyze doc. And let's see if this makes it go any faster. I know she just changed all of this for you guys just to put this because I didn't want to charge, because she normally, I think, charges 47 a month. And I was like, if I'm going to even mention it, you have to be cheaper than the workshops that will show them. Okay, so now it's done. So that's how long it should have taken. That's great. So now I'm just going to say download analysis. Here's my analysis. I'm going to open it. And literally, this is what I would cut and paste as my knowledge file, where it goes into my vocabulary pattern, it goes into my grammar pattern, my sentence structure, my sentence length, my style, my tone, my voice, my punctuation usage. It is such an in-depth, literally 19-point analysis. It's incredible. And again, I have some clients that speak like Stevie Nicks sings. Like their tone is wispy and earthy, and there is no way just uploading documents into ChatGPT of their style was getting their tone. I use this tool and it did it instantly. Because the other thing, and so again, I would literally, so this is called analysis dash result. I would rename it Eve's voice tone or whatever, and then put it in my knowledge file just to give the full loop going back to how to create the GPT. But I could just keep it like this and just make sure that I understand that the analysis result, but I usually do two. Again, this was for my written, and then I do one for my speaking. And I put them both into my custom GPT because we write a little bit different, a little bit more formal than we speak. And so I like it to understand both, and it does a good job with that. So yeah, that's it. I gave you guys the link again to that. Let me now get you guys the links to all these documents. Oh, and the other document I'm going to give you, let me share my screen again, because I promised you guys this. Again, I already did this as a workshop. These are my foundation prompts. I do this for every client. This is literally when I first got into AI, I started creating ICAs. I could not believe a very long time ago when I got out of grad school, I ran a brand strategy boutique company with a brand strategist. I was the media person, and it would take him about a week and a half of research when we got a client to come up with their ICA and ICP. These prompts, and literally, I'm just going to give you guys this. This goes on and on. ICA, I wonder if that's the right one. Hold on a second, because I'm going to go down to the pain points and see if this is, nope, hold on a second. GPT custom instructions, step by step. Nope, it was that. GPT. All right, so not to give you guys FOMO, but this is going to be very confusing if I gave you all of these, because this is going down into getting into Another workshop that I'm going to teach probably soon is getting into your ICA. Hold on, let me do this. Make sure restricted. Gonna go anyone with a link, copy link. And boom, you have that. And let me go into, oh, that's where those were. That's funny. I'm going to give you guys also, again, if you don't want to do all this and you just want to create your GPT, you can just take these custom instructions and just change out the info to fit yours. And then my step-by-step, which I was going to go into ChatGPT and make this much better. But I'm just going to give it to you guys right now. Because you guys have stayed on this Zoom. And I don't want to keep it more than 90 minutes just to respect your guys' time. And I actually have another Zoom. All right, done. All right, so if for some reason you guys can't access those, because there's always someone that can't do it, and it could be an error on my part, I gave you my email. I'm going to give it to you guys again, just in case you came on late. If you're interested in jamming with me again, just reach out. I do a lot of free stuff. I do, like I said, I go into a lot of different people's masterminds. And so if you just want to join the free stuff that I do, I usually put it on Facebook. You can find me on Facebook. I'll give you all that stuff. But just email me and then I'll just put you on my email list. My YouTube, I believe, is Eve Whitaker AI. I literally just had it moved over. I kept it as Vay Creative. But if it's not, just shoot me an email. And if you don't want me to put you on an email list, I promise you, I don't send out emails or a lot of them. You sign up for something and you get 100. I just don't. I'm too busy. I want to be better. Laurel's always trying to get me to do more and put out more content. And I always laugh because I'm like, I'm doing it for all my clients. I don't have time. I actually started the YouTube thing basically so I could give, when I started jumping into Laurel's group, I started putting them up on my YouTube because she's like, jump into my group and then you can get the YouTube views. I don't monetize my YouTube. I have my clients doing it and I teach them how to use it as an SEO tool. But I don't. So anyway, you guys have been awesome. Thank you. Again, I have like 5 minutes if there's any other questions that anybody wants to ask. Feel free. You guys have been great. Great group. You guys all stuck around. I appreciate it. And again, feel free to reach out. I'm always happy to help with anything. And there's a lot more to AI. This was kind of this will get you going, right? Especially in creating the custom GPTs. You're going to hear a lot about agents because AI agents and automation is definitely blowing up. I think it's really going to get there next year. But we are building custom solutions in that way for some of my clients. And it works, it doesn't work for everyone. But there's a lot of stuff that, I like to say, and I did not come up with this. I heard it when people are afraid of what AI do and, oh, is it going to take our jobs away, whatever. Someone said it's going to allow us to be human beings again instead of human doings. I like that because, a lot of what I use AI for is just to accelerate what I can do. It's not doing it. There's not a blog I've ever written for a client that I did not go through meticulously and put in where I wanted the quotes and all that. There's always a human behind it, but you can also have AI write it and just post it if you're just using it for SEO purposes or something. So there's that too. Thank you guys. I appreciate it. And again, reach out you have questions, comments, or interested in any of the stuff I talked about. Thank you.